watching The Breakdown with the Fight Analyst, Garrett Kerman.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to The Breakdown. I am the Fight Analyst, Garrett Kerman, and this here is my special guest, the Kraken himself, Christian Ynastrilla. He's a regular on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. How's it going today?
Doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Doing great on this fine Wednesday in sunny South Florida, Miami. We got a great fight card on tap. UFC 263, 14 fights. The card is stacked top to bottom. But before we get into breaking down this card, I want to know, how's it going with you, training and everything? I know we haven't talked in quite some time, so I just want to get to know what's going on.
I've been training a lot. I've been happy about that. I've been getting a lot of work with my striking coach, Carl Darbouz. I feel like I'm making a lot of gains and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. I feel like just improving every day, and I feel like I'm really excited to kind of show like my new skill set, like when I fight again, which is gonna be here in a couple weeks. So excited to get in there.
Oh, so you're fighting in a couple weeks. That's some great news. Great news to hear. Do we have an opponent yet? Anything on surface?
Oh, well, I did have an opponent, and he ended up, I think, breaking his ankle or something. So it was pretty unfortunate. But I know now we're back on the waiting game. But I know I'm still on the card, so hopefully, we get somebody and we get this show on the road, and it's looking like July 2nd for Fight Analyst. So
I like it. I like to hear that. So as far as training goes, who's you been getting some work in with? Who's been pushing you to that next level? What have you been specializing in just to kind of, level up on this time off?
I mean, I think for me, the important thing has been leveling up everywhere, not kind of feeling like, oh, I'm good here, I'm not good here. I feel like everywhere I've really been putting the time in. I feel like I've really been putting in a lot more time lately with my striking coach, Carl Darbouz. And I feel like he's more of like a fighter right now, but he's been kind of focusing a little bit on coaching me and stuff. And I feel like in the years to come, he's going to be one of the best striking coaches around, in my opinion. And I think it'll show as I keep getting better and then things like that. Also, I've been working a lot with pretty much my MMA and grappling coach, Chris Navarro. He's been a big help to me as well. And also Roger Crawl, he's been, a big help to me. And also over there at AT Sunrise, working with Felipe Laborio a lot more. So I feel like those guys are really rounding out my game and just, getting stronger also. I feel like that's been a good thing in this time off with my strength and conditioning coach, Mark Bokurian. I feel like that's been really important for me in this time off too, just putting on some strength, leveling up my cardio and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to kind of show all the new wrinkles that I have in my game.
I like it. So we're gonna pretty much see, I don't want to see a brand new you, but a much more improved you coming on July 2nd.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that too. I think this is also the first camp I've worked with a sports psychologist. I feel like a lot of times I hear a lot of people talking about mental training and things like that, and I've never really put too much mind to it. And it was something that talking with my coaches, they thought it'd be something good for me. So I've been working with a sports psychologist. His name is the Mental Sensei. He has an Instagram that you can check out, and he works with a lot of UFC athletes and high level athletes and stuff like that. He works with bare knuckle fighters too, like Joey Beltran and different guys like that. And I feel like that's been another thing too. I feel like when I came into this MMA game, I didn't have a background. I wasn't this kid that's been training since I was 5 or 6 years old. I kind of picked it up since I've been 18. I've been fighting and beating guys that have 2 or 3 times the experience as me. The last 2 fights I hit a little bit of roadblocks, but I think this time, I feel a lot more mentally mature and as far as in the fight game, and I feel like my skill set's just getting better and better. And I'm still young. I'm only 25, so I'm excited to show July 2nd again what I'm made of.
Well, that's great, man. I mean, a lot of people really don't talk about the actual mental game that that really happens when you're fighting. I don't know what goes through when it comes to fighting. I've never fought in my life, and I probably would never will. But when it comes to it, I'm sure it's it's crazy. You got so much anxiety, leading up to the fight, and then all that pent up aggression that you're taking out in the cage. I'm sure it it takes a toll on you, especially even on your time off, because you're constantly thinking about it. Whether you win or lose, you're always thinking about, trying to get better here or what happened here or, stuff like that. And I know it probably takes a toll on you, but it's great that you're trying to get your headspace as well as your physical, body, up to par and ready to go on July 2nd. That's less than a month away, and you're finally getting a full camp. So how does it feel finally coming into a fight where you're getting a full camp? How's that going?
Yeah, yeah. I'm super happy about that. I feel like 2020 that was probably one of the biggest issues, with the whole thing with COVID. I feel like I'd have a fight coming up, and then it'd be postponed to the next month, and then it'd be postponed to the next month, and then it'd be postponed to the next month. I think that happened to me like 4 or 5 times, and I was just being in the camp the entire time, and then my weight started getting super light because I couldn't really get off the camp and stuff like that, and then taking fight at catch weights where I was already practically at the weight facing guys way bigger. Just a lot of scenarios that weren't helping me, and also last year losing my job and then my gym shutting down. It was just a lot of things going on in 2020 that I feel like made it difficult for me to perform as well. But with all that behind me, I feel like now I've had a good training camp. I feel like everything's been planned. I've had all the sessions that I want to have. I feel like I'm making the strides where I want to make them mentally and physically, especially mentally too. So I'm very excited about like what the future holds because I know I'm in a position where I get a couple good finishes and I put myself in the same spot where I was last year. So.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you were at the top of the top. And it happens. You're still very young, even in your fight game. It's not like you have 20 plus fights. I mean, you're still 20. You're only 20. You're only 25. You still got a lot of ways to go. You're not even at your peak yet. You're not even in your prime. So you got like 6 years before you even hit your prime. So. You got a lot of growing, and you have a lot of time to finally get to the top of the top. And I'm just hoping. I just want to see you fight on July 2nd. I'm hoping I could be there live to see it happen. It will be great. I want to see you get another win under your belt, get back into the win column, and just keep it moving from there. So I'm sky's the limit, man, and I'm totally looking forward to it. As far as the opponent, do you expect possibly someone of a name, or you're just gonna take whoever they really kind of throw your way?
There was somebody I was interested in that he was fighting out of California, but I know that right now, I think they're trying to keep it like more kind of guys local area, they're like a driving distance away. So I think not really any names in mind or any potential opponent. I mean the guy that I was originally supposed to fight from North Carolina, and that was a matchup that I seemed pretty excited for, but unfortunately he got injured. So now it's just kind of playing the waiting game. But yeah, not really any names right now off the top of my head, really.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I'm just hoping you get something quick so you can kind of game plan to see who you're going against. It kind of sucks having to game plan, on a short notice opponent. You can't really game plan too much. It's pretty much just doing the basics, doing what you know to do, and just executing. But it's always good to be able to game plan, who you're going up against. But I'm still looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to you getting back in there and getting some fight on, man. You getting the fight in. I know you're itching, right? You're itching to get back in there.
Yeah, especially I'm not one of those guys that likes to fight once a year or anything like that. I always want to fight, 3-4 times a year. Like I like to compete. I feel like, like God willing, so I want to keep my health and things like that. I want to be one of those guys with like with like 50, 60 fights. So I mean, I like being active. I enjoy fighting. It's always been my passion, and I feel like the only way also you get better in this game is competing. But I know I've had to take a step back and also just figure out things that I need to figure out in training because I think when my gym shut down, it kind of left everything kind of confusing where the training was gonna happen. A lot of things were never like set. It was kind of random and things like that. So it's been nice to really like ACC Sunrise has always been like my second home, but I really made it my main home. And I feel like now training has been a lot easier. I've been able to get all the sessions that I need to get in and things like that.
That's great, man. That's great to hear. I'm glad that you're, you're in the great, the headspace that you're in. You're getting the work in. You're getting ready for your fight July 2nd. I'm looking forward to it. But right now, let's break down this massive UFC 263 fight card because that's what you're here for. You're here to help us. You're here to help the viewers make some money this weekend. Massive fight card. I'm looking forward to, headlined by Israel Adesanya taking on Marvin Vettori for the middleweight championship. You got Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Brandon Moreno in the rematch for the flyweight championship. We have the return of Nate Diaz taking on Leon Edwards for the number one contender spot for the welterweight championship. That's right. Whoever wins that fight is next in line after Colby Covington to take on Kamaru Usman. So that's gonna be a banger. There's tons and tons of great fights up and down this fight card. So let's start it off on the prelims. Our first preliminary fight is a fight in the heavyweight division between Carlos Felipe and Jake Collier. Right now, Felipe is a minus 170 favorite, and the comeback on Collier is a plus 150 underdog. Felipe is a 10-1. Collier is 12-5. 6 foot Felipe, 6'3" for Collier. 75-inch reach for Felipe, 78.5-inch reach for Collier. Who do you got in this one?
I've been watching a little bit of Felipe's fight. I think I'm gonna have to lean towards him. I think he's been looking pretty good in his last couple of fights. So yeah, I'm gonna take Felipe on this one.
Yeah, it's this is a fight I'm obviously not gonna place any of my money on. Let's just start it off there. Felipe looked okay in his last fight. I do think he lost his last fight. It was a close fight. You know, could have gone either way, but I think the knockdown in the closing rounds is really kind of what swayed his way. I just think he was kind of getting out volume for the most part. Collier got absolutely steamrolled in his first fight at heavyweight, but that was against Tom Aspinall, a really top prospect, and then he beat I forgot his name, but he didn't beat anybody worthwhile in his next fight. I kind of forgot, but and it's just John Vellante. There you go. I just can't really trust him either. He looked good. I got to give him credit there. His volume was up to par there. He was looking good in that fight, but you know, it's John Vellante. I feel like this fight can really go either way. Both guys have really good volume. You got Felipe landing 4.42 strikes per minute. You have Collier landing 4.92. So they're right neck and neck. They're both absorbing a shit ton of strikes, over 4 strikes per minute. Both of them are absorbing. So I feel like these two are just going to come in there and just pretty much slug it out in the middle and just see who could absorb the least and you kind of just avoid the most. But I feel like Felipe kind of has the better technique, but we'll see how it goes. If I had to choose a side, I'll go Felipe, but I'm not betting at minus 170, and I kind of don't trust Collier at plus 160 either. I would kind of need at least plus 200 to take Collier. I just don't think he's the best at heavyweight. Felipe has nice boxing, pretty good for heavyweight's sake. Yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. He's got some good volume. When Hate's fight, I don't know who Hate is, but I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, all right. Let's move it on. Let's keep it rolling. Let's not talk too much about that fight. All right. Next up, we have a fight in the lightweight division, I believe. Let's see here. Give me a second. I believe it's in the lightweight division. Yeah, lightweight division between Fares Ziam and Luigi Vendramini. Right now, Ziam is a minus 135 favorite, and the comeback on Vendramini is a plus 115 underdog. Who do you got in this one?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Ziam on this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think these two guys are very they're kind of evenly matched in a way. I think Vendramini probably has the more power of the two, as we saw in his last fight. But Ziam, he's shown that he has actually pretty good distance striking. He's very tall for the division at 6'1". He's going to have the height and he's going to have the reach advantage. He uses decent movement, doesn't get hit a ton. One of these two. All right, next up, we have a fight in the featherweight division between Chase Hooper and Steven Peterson. Chase Hooper is a minus 105 favorite in the comeback on Steven Peterson is a minus 115 favorite. Right now, Chase Hooper is 10-1-1. Steven Peterson 18-9. 6'1" for Hooper, 5'10" for Peterson. 74-inch reach for Hooper, 70-inch reach for Peterson. Who do you got?
Man, this is one of those tough ones. I mean, like we've seen in Chase Hooper, his last fight he was getting, pretty much outworked in the fight, and then he'll able to, pull off the leg lock at the end. And then Steven Peterson, I mean, he's been up and down, but he's a dog when he comes to fight, and he just has more experience. I feel like that's one of those tough ones, but I think I'm gonna have to go here with the underdog and go with Steven Peterson. I think he'll probably outwork him. I know Chase Hooper always has the threat to maybe submit him, but I think Steven Peterson faces tougher competition. I think I'm gonna lean towards him on this one.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you. I mean, he's fought the much better competition. I mean, much better. Barrett was working him like a dog, and for majority of the fight until he got caught, and in the last portion of it. You look at Peterson; he has 75% takedown defense, and it's not like Hooper has any sort of offensive grappling. He's only lands 7% of his takedowns, 0.32 of his takedowns are landed per 15 minutes. So that's not good. And we know that Steven Peterson is definitely the much better striker. I mean, Hooper, he still has a long ways to go. And he just relies too much on his grappling. Steven Peterson has never been submitted in his entire career. He's faced the likes of Alex Caceres, Luis Pena, and none of those dudes could put him away when it comes to the grappling. So I think he'll be able to, keep this fight standing and, outwork Hooper on the feet. And I like Hooper. I like his personality. I like his style. I like his grappling. And they're really just giving him some killers. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they're just giving him too much of a step up here. You're talking about a guy that's got 27 fights under his belt. That's a pretty big step up, and he's got a ton of experience. He's faced high level jiu-jitsu fighters. He's faced high level strikers. He's faced everybody under the sun. So I'm taking Steven Peterson here. I think the experience is really gonna be the major factor here in this fight. All right, next up, we have a new fight between Matt Frevola and Terrence McKinney. Unfortunately, Frank Camacho got into a car accident yesterday morning, I believe, and that's the reason why he had to pull out of his fight against Frevola, which was going to be an absolute banger of a fight. But in comes Terrence McKinney, who is a dog. I don't know if you've seen him on the Contender Series. The dude is a dog. He's won his last two fights. He's looked really good, and he definitely deserves the step up in competition, and he deserves the call, and I do believe he deserves to be in the UFC. So right now the line is set at Matt Frevola is a minus 265 favorite, and Terrence McKinney is a plus 225 underdog. Who do you got?
I think in this one with the short notice and things like that in play, and I feel like for Vola, he's had a lot of big wins in the UFC. He's also had some disappointing losses and stuff like that in the UFC. But I think right now I'm probably gonna have to lean towards Frevola just with the UFC experience that he has right now, and I think also with his opponent taking on short notice, I think I'm probably gonna have to lean towards Frevola on this one.
Yeah, I have to lean that way as well. I think this is a pretty big, not a pretty big step up. I think it's pretty big step up in competition compared to his last two opponents, and I don't think it's going to be an easy out. Frevola has really good grappling to be on par with McKinney. I know McKinney has gotten his striking a lot better since the Contender Series where he got Need from Hell from Sean Woodson, but. And I just think Matt Frevola is going to be able to outwork him here. The short notice stature of this fight, I think it's going to play a big factor. And I think Frevola is just going to implement his will, his wrestling, and his striking. I think it's going to be a complete package. Minus 265, that's not a line I really like, but it's actually doable. I thought he was going to be much heavier favorite. I thought we're looking at minus 350. So that means the odds makers are really giving praise to McKinney coming into this fight, thinking he is, a good competitor. And I do think he's going to be a competitor. I think he's going to make it a lot closer, but I do think that Frevola is going to finally get another win under his belt. All right. Next up, we have next fight is this fight. Is a fight at 135 pounds between Pannie Kianzad and Alexis Davis. Right now, Pannie Kianzad is a -190 favorite, and Alexis Davis a +165 underdog. Kianza is 15-5. Alexis Davis 20-10. 5'7" for Kianza. 5'6" for Alexis Davis. 66-inch reach for Kianza. 68-inch reach for Davis. Who do you got?
I think in this one, I'm probably gonna take the underdog, Alexis Davis. I think in this one she might be able to pull it out. I think.
And how so? Do you think by just grappling her or what?
I think she'll maybe be able to grind it out for a decision. I think it'll be a pretty competitive fight. I can see her maybe win like two out of the 3 rounds and win like a tight decision. I think.
Yeah, it's. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than the line suggests. I think Kianza obviously has a much better striking. We've seen that her striking is very fluent. She's looking really good. She's got good volume as well. My only drawback is when I saw her fight, Sajaro Eubanks. It was when she got taken down, she was stuck off her back. And I know Alexis Davis isn't the best grappler, but if she can just replicate what she did in her last fight against Sabina Mazo, Kianza is going to be in a world of trouble just by being flat on her back. It's a hard fight to call. I don't want to lay -190 on Kianza. I do think she wins. I just think she's a stronger fighter of the two. I do think she should be able to keep this fight on the feet. She's got 83% takedown defense. She has she has a striking advantage. She's landing almost 50% of her strikes. She's landing 5.14 per minute, which is really, really good. She has striking advantage. So I'm gonna have to lean towards her way. I think it's just gonna be a little dicey at times. And I just don't think -190 is the right line to bet her at. I do think she comes and pulls this out, but I think it's gonna be a sweat. Let's put it that way. It's gonna be a sweat because I had Sabina Mazo against Alexis Davis, and that did not work out whatsoever. So Alexis Davis can sometimes pull shit out of her ass. So we'll see what happens. All right. Next up, we have a fight. This is one of my sleeper fights. This is gonna be a great fight. I had 145 pounds between Mafsar Ivluev and Hakeem Dawodu. Ivluev is 14-0. Dawodu 12-1-1. 5'7" for Ivluev. 5'8" for Dawodu. 72.5-inch reach for Ivluev. 73.5-inch reach for Dawodu. Right now, Ivluev is a -235 favorite, and the comeback on Dawodu is a +195 underdog. Who do you got?
Man, this is a dog fight. I've seen both of these guys fighting. They both have a really good skill set. Dawodu, I think his last fight, it was probably, a very crazy performance that he had. I think him being the underdog is pretty interesting in this one. I think I'm probably going to lean towards him a little bit to maybe get a decision on this one. But yeah, I'm going to have to probably go with Dawodu on this one.
Yeah, this fight's going to be a banger. We had John Lazera asking, hey, I got a quick question on my sports side. It gives me an option at +100 for Adesanya to throw one punch. It's like a booster play. Isn't that like 100% guaranteed win? Yes, that is 100% guaranteed win. Unless, he gets starched within a second. Yes, that's a guaranteed win. They're literally giving you free money so you can go bet on, something else. So that's just a free bet. Go bet it. Take that free money, and then take the money and run, because that is a free bet and that's what they're giving you. Bet the max, whatever the max is, whatever it's like $20, $25, whatever, take it and bet it. As far as this fight goes, man, this is a good one. I'm very looking forward to it. Ivlev, massive great grappling credentials. He's a great grappler, training over at Tiger Muay Thai, so he's got that that Muay Thai background as well. Uses very good kicks to keep distance, and his grappling is really next level. It's the reason why he's 14-0. Then you got Hakeem Dawodu. His Muay Thai striking is legit, absolute legit. He's got some crazy kicks. You're talking about a guy that loves to beat up the lead legs of opponents. And that's where I think there's going to be a little bit of a problem for Ivlev. He's never faced anybody that's going to throw 30, 40, calf kicks. He's never faced anybody that's going to be thumping calf kicks. If we saw Zubara in that third round, he couldn't even walk on that lead leg, and that's why he was only able to land 1 of 7 of his takedown attempts. So, if Dawodu is able to go in there and beat up the lead leg, and of Evloev, it's going to be a trouble for him trying to get those takedowns. You know, he needs that lead leg in order for him to be successful on his takedowns. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I don't know, minus 230 on Evloev is not something I really want to do, especially against arguably the best striker he's faced in his entire career. I think he wins. Minus 230 is just not, it's not sitting well with me. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be a sweat. If I take Evloev at minus 230, I'm going to be sweating, especially if he doesn't shooting for takedowns right away. He's got to be first on his takedowns. Like within the first minute of every round, he needs to be in and around his legs. He can't stay at distance. He can't stand striking for long periods of time because I think that lead leg is going to be very compromised very early. So I'm going to go with Evloev here. I do think he wins, but it's going to be a sweat. Let's put it that way. All right. Next up, we have a fight at 125 pounds between Lauren Murphy and Joe Calderwood. Right now, the line is that Joanne Calderwood's a minus 145 favorite, and the comeback on Lauren Murphy is a plus 125 underdog. Murphy's 14-4, Calderwood 15-5, 5-5 for Murphy, 5-6 for Calderwood, 67-inch reach for Murphy, 65.5-inch reach for Calderwood. Who do you got?
I'm really gonna have to go with Calderwood on this one. I think she's the better striker, and I think she's a little more creative on the feet. I think she has some of the best striking on the feet. I think she showed a little bit that she has a little bit of trouble, like kind of consistency, kind of putting like performances and kind of putting them back to back together. But I feel like in this matchup, I think Calderwood is the better fighter. In my opinion, I think overall, I think she should be able to pull it out on Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning at first. But man, after I kind of dig deep into it, I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards the dog here at Lauren Murphy, and I might actually take a play on her at plus 125. I kind of wanted a better price, but I think Murphy can hang in there with Calderwood. I know Calderwood definitely has the volume advantage. That's certain. I do think Murphy has the power advantage, and I also think Murphy has the grappling advantage. That's where it's going to get dicey. I do think Murphy can take this fight to the mat. I think she can keep Calderwood down on the mat. We're talking about Calderwood, who's got stuck on the mat numerous times against a bunch of different fighters. Ariane Lipski was able to keep her on the mat for over almost 4 minutes. And Ariane Lipski, we saw what happened against Montana De La Rosa last week. She's not a good grappler. So if she gets stuck on the mat against some of these lesser grapplers, Murphy can really take her down and really wear her out and just keep her on the mat, play the clinch game, play against the cage and just kind of grind her out. That's the type of style she is. And I know Joanne's going to come in there. She's going to throw a lot of kicks, try to keep the distance and throw a ton of volume because that's what she does. Her striking is really, really crisp, really, really good. But it only takes one of those kicks to be caught and to be taken down. And I do think Murphy's got it. I think she's a grinder. She's gritty. And she gets in your face and she's looked good. She's looked really good. She's won 4 in a row. She's beaten some decent competition. Romero Barella, Angela Lee, Roxanne Modafferi, Shakarava, who's not really good, but I mean, still a win is a win. And Calderwood's kind of been alternating wins and losses. So we'll see what happens. But I'm taking a shot on the dog here, plus 125. I'm taking Lauren Murphy. Calderwood can grind a decision out here. Better striker needs to utilize the range and ring craft and clinch Murphy when she crashes with pressure. KGB sneaking up the rankings on these girls who can't grapple. Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. Definitely. Calderwood is really good. Her striking is, like I said, is really good. Her Muay Thai, her knees, her elbows. She's good in the clinch. She's gonna need to use all those tools to keep Murphy away from her, keep her off of her, and keep this fight at distance and on the feet. Because I feel like if she's on bottom, she's getting stuck. She's gonna get stuck. Her jiu-jitsu is not the greatest, and I think Murphy's top game is actually smothering. I think she has a really good smothering top game. So we'll see how it goes. I'm taking a little shot on the dog here in Murphy. All right, next up is a fight in the. Actually, we have this fight. This fight is going to be in the light heavyweight division, I believe, between Eric Anders and Darren Stewart. Anders is a. Let's go. Anders is a minus 145 favorite, and Stewart is a plus 125 underdog. Who do you got in this one?
I mean, in this one, I think it's some good underdog money to me for Darren Stewart. Just my opinion, I've never really been too impressed with Eric Andrews. I feel like with his overall game, and I feel like Darren Stewart, he's one of those up-and-coming guys, and I feel like he's had some pretty good performances. I feel like when you fought Kevin Holland and different guys like that, I think in this one, I'm going to lean towards Darren Stewart with that underdog money.
Yeah, this is I feel like it's a really tough fight. I know their first encounter, Eric Andrews was beating the shit out of him, almost finished him, and then you got the illegal knee, and then that was a no contest, and then here we are again. But now they're at 205. It's gonna be interesting to see how how they fight at 205. I know Darren Stewart didn't really get a really full camp in their last time out because of all the COVID restrictions outside of the United States. So I think we're gonna see a much better Darren Stewart. He's got power, he's got wrestling, and we'll see what he brings to the table. You know what Eric Anders got? He's got power in his hands. He's looked a lot better in this last fight. He moved over to Fight Ready, with Eddie Cha and those guys, the Pitbull brothers, Henry Cejudo, those types of fighters over there. So we'll see how it happens. It's a really close fight. It's a hard fight to call, but I think I'm going to lean towards Darren Stewart here as the underdog at plus 125. So I think he could possibly pull out the victory as a dog here as well. Pick him to me, but staying far away. Don't know if I could trust either guy with a cerebral game plan. No, I completely agree with you, Kevin. Yeah. That's very true. Kevin's saying that he can't really trust either guy to come in there and really implement a great game plan. And that's the reason why the line is at minus 145 and plus 125. So I totally agree with you. I'm not really laying money on either one of these two, but I do think it's going to be a banger of a fight. These two are going to come there and throw down in the middle. So it's at least for us fans, it's going to be a good one. All right. Next up is our featured bout on the prelims. This is one of my, if not the favorite fight on the card. In a fight at 155 pounds between Drew Dober and Brad Riddell. Right now, Dober is a minus 140 favorite, and the comeback on Riddell is a plus 120 underdog. Dober is 23-10. Riddell is 9-1. 5-8 for Dober. 5-7 for Riddell. 70-inch reach for Dober. 71-inch reach for Riddell. Who do you got?
Man, this is one of those fights that really just leaves you on the edge of your seat on who to pick here. But I'm a big fan of Drew Dober. I really like his style lately and everything like that. Even stepping up fight Makhachev and stuff like that. But I think I'm gonna have to lean a little bit towards Brad Riddell. I feel like he has the momentum coming into this fight, and I feel like he's really one of the dark horses in this division. He's not talked about too much. I know he's talked about a little bit, because he trains Saban and stuff like that. But I think his striking is super clean. I think he has some wrestling too that he can lean on, especially fighting Drew Dober, who I know his takedown defense isn't the greatest. So I think in this fight, I'm definitely gonna take Brad Riddell.
Yes. If anybody has seen my money plays, this is one of my money plays for UFC 263, a dog play on Brad Riddell. I think he finally gets a fight where he doesn't have to defend takedowns all fight. This is a fight where it's tailor-made for him to showcase his striking abilities. You're talking about a guy that's got over 60 kickboxing matches. He's got 10 MMA fights. He's never been knocked out in either one of those. So chances of Dober going in there and cracking his chin, I don't think it's likely. I feel like Dober's going to test his takedown defense because he was talking about it a little bit in the interviews, but he didn't want to give it away too much. But we're talking about Dober, who only has 7 takedowns in his entire MMA career, UFC career, rather. And now it's only in 2 fights, and he has a ton of UFC fights. So he doesn't use it a whole ton. I don't think he's going to be able to keep him down. Riddell is hard to keep down, keep on the mat. And we know what Riddell brings to the table when it's on the feet. Thundering leg kicks, great crisp combinations, very technical with his striking. He's got power for days. He's like you said, a dark horse in this division. I'm super looking forward to this. I'm taking him at plus money. It's hard to not take Rydell in a you think a striking match, because Dober, that's what he does best. He likes to come in there. He likes to throw down. He'd rather throw down, put on a great performance for the fans. He's been talking about that. Than, go in there and just try to wrestle his opponent. So I'm taking Rydell here. He's finally getting an opponent that's willing to stand there and bang it out with him in the front and center. And we're getting good plus money on him. I know people are still taking Dober. Keep taking Dober. Let that money keep piling in, so I can even get a bigger price on Rydell here. We're getting a good price on a dog in a fight where he's going to be able to strike with his opponent. Give me that all day. I took him against guys that were just going in there and fucking grappling with him. So now we're getting him a plus money on a guy that's going to go in there and just stand and trade with him. I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. All right. Next up is our first fight on the main card, which is going to be an absolute banger between Paul Craig and Jamal Hill. Holy crap, this is going to be a good fight. Right now, Hill's a minus 280 favorite in the comeback on Paul Craig's plus 240 underdog. Craig is 14-4. Jamal Hill still undefeated at 8-0. 6-3 for Craig, 6-4 for Hill, 76-inch reach for Craig, 79-inch reach for Hill. Who do you got?
I know that Paul Craig, he has some really good grappling, and he's been in the UFC for a little bit. But I think towards this one, I'm gonna have to lean towards Jamal Hill. He's up and coming, and I think his striking is much cleaner than Paul Craig. And I just think that striking is gonna be a little too much for Paul Craig to handle. I think Paul Craig's also shown in some of his fights that he doesn't deal well when he faces, these better strikers and things like that. And I think in this fight, Jamal Hill is gonna be able to kind of dictate the pace of the fight and be able to kind of just pick apart Paul Craig.
Absolutely. And what's up, Nick? Thanks for supporting. I appreciate you hopping on here and checking out the podcast. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, I think you're spot on here. I don't know if you saw the feud between these two. These two absolutely despise each other. They hate each other. Paul Craig was saying how he thinks Jamal Hill was, faking his COVID test to pull out of the fight. And Hill's like, bro, I was coughing up blood. It was absolute worse. He had a really bad case of COVID. So, I don't think he was, doing anything like that. But that's my only thing that kind of takes a drawback. This is the first fight since COVID. But then again, he hasn't had COVID since March. He's been training since then. So he's had a lot of time to get back to normal. I still do think he has enough what it takes to keep this fight standing and just absolutely brutalize Paul Craig on the feet. Paul Craig's going to have to drag this fight to the mat any which way possible, or he's going to get absolute cracked from bell to bell throughout this entire fight. We're talking about Paul Craig was even on the bottom against Shogun. Shogun was actually had top control against him, hammering down shots. That's not good. That's very bad. When a Shogun is on top of you, hammering down shots. I think Hill is obviously better than Shogun. I do think he should be able to defend some takedowns. He looked good getting back up when he had to against Darko Stosic, who I think is a much better, offensive grappler than Craig. He stuffed the head and was able to posture up and get back to his feet. That was very impressive to me. He beat the dog shit out of OSP, and that was also very impressive. I don't know who Paul Craig's best win is. I would say the Hail Mary triangle submission against Ankalaev, but he was getting beaten to a bloody pulp for 14 minutes and 59 seconds of that fight. So I can't really do that there. So maybe Shogun was his best win, or Antigulov, who took him down and beat him up. I don't know. But I think Hill has this all day. As long as he doesn't get caught with anything on the mat, he should run away with this. Kevin says, inside the distance, wouldn't be a bad idea to put a bet on sub finish for Craig or TKO finish for Hill. Yeah, I did. Those are the two likely scenarios. It's hard for me to see this fight going the distance. It's hard for me to see Hill winning decision, Paul Craig winning a decision. That's a good way to bet this fight. You take a TKO by Hill or a sub finish by Craig. And I know a sub finish by Craig should probably get you a pretty decent line as a good hedge if you were to bet on Jamal Hill. So yeah, I'm on Hill here. Minus 280, not the greatest price, but I do think he comes away victorious and just brutalizes Paul Craig. All right, next up, We have a fight at 170 pounds between Damian Maia and Bilal Muhammad. Right now, Muhammad is a minus 230 favorite, and the comeback at Damian Maia is a plus 190 underdog. Maia is 28-10. Muhammad's 18-3. 6'1" from Maia, 5'11" from Muhammad. 72-inch reach across the board. Who do you got?
Man, Damian Maia, he's one of those guys that he ages, but he's still able to pull out, these crazy performances, time and time again, get these fights to the mat and get those submissions. But I don't think against Bilal Muhammad that's going to be the case. I think Muhammad in this fight, I think he's the more well-rounded mixed martial artist. I think Damian Maia, he brings in very high-level jiu-jitsu, and, his takedowns have gotten better over the years. But I just don't see him being able to do that against Bilal Muhammad. I think age is also going to play a big factor in this one. I just think Bilal Muhammad is a younger, faster guy. I think he's going to have the better gas tank, and I just think Bilal Muhammad's probably going to run away with this one, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think you're spot on. Absolutely. Muhammad has been an absolute tear. He's won 8 of his last 9. He's looked great. This is finally a step up in competition, albeit, it's an older Damian Maia, but Damian Maia's on his last legs. He got brutally beaten by Gilbert Burns in his last fight. He hasn't fought since then. I think that, it's been close to a year. He fought in 2020, but like you said, he's on his last legs. We've seen Jacare, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend, gotten absolutely got steamrolled in his last fight, and I kind of feel like the same's going to happen here. He's hungry. The dude's looking to finally get a big win under his belt, and this is his big win. He's looking good. He's got great takedown defense at 85%. Nobody since his first fight in the UFC has held him down for more than a minute. Actually, more than 50 seconds. So no one has been able to control Muhammad either. His boxing is crisp, very, very crisp. And if you look at Damian Maia when he took on Rocco Martin, Damian Maia in round 3 was running away from Anthony Martin. He was running away from him to the point where everybody's booing and the ref was yelling at him that he has to engage. So I kind of feel like if he doesn't get this fight to the mat, he's just going to get pieced up on the feet. And, and that's what it is. He's going to literally have to grab a hold of him and drag him to the mat any which way possible, or, do the Jorge Masvidal backpack and try to hold him for fucking 15 minutes. And if I lose again like that, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. I'm going to be so fucking pissed if I lose to fucking Damian Maia just on his back, holding him for 15 minutes. I will be fucking furious because I am betting on Bilal Muhammad. I'm very confident in his abilities. He deserves a step up. This is a great step up, and I do think he wins with flying colors. Bilal needs to keep it standing. Yes, absolutely. No one wants to go to the mat with Damian Maia. It doesn't matter who you are. We've seen Askren. He didn't want. He even tried to take. He even took it to the mat, and he got submitted. So not a soul wants to take this fight to the mat. So, but I do think Muhammad has the footwork, and he's got the takedown defense to keep it on the feet. So I'm all over Muhammad. He's arguably one of my most confident plays on this card. All right. Next up, we have a fight in the welterweight division between Leon Edwards and the return of Nathan Diaz. That's right. Nate Diaz is back. He's back. He's ready to go. Looking to get another win under his belt. Right now, Leon Edwards is a massive minus 600 favorite, the biggest favorite on the card. And the comeback on Nate Diaz is a plus 450 favorite. Leon Edwards 18-3. Nate Diaz 21-12. 6 foot across the board. 74-inch reach for Edwards. 76-inch reach for Diaz. Who do you got in this one?
Man, I know Nate Diaz is like a fan favorite, but I feel like coming back for him, I think this is probably one of the worst matchups he could have. I know this is a fight that apparently he asked for and things like that. I just don't think this is a smart play. I think Leon Edwards is literally better than him everywhere. I think Nate Diaz really only route to victory is try to pressure Leon Edwards, and I don't think that's really gonna work. I think Leon's gonna slice him up. Leon has some of the best elbows and knees in the division, and he's able to fight fluently out of righty and southpaw. He has the leg kicks. I think Leon Edwards is gonna beat up Nate Diaz pretty bad, and I'm a Nate Diaz fan, so I kind of don't want to see that, but I just see Leon Edwards kind of just dictating what he wants to do. I think if Leon wants to keep it on the feet, he's gonna keep it on the feet. If he wants to take Nate down, I think it's just gonna be a rough night for Nate. I think so.
I agree, 100%. This is gonna be
Yeah.
an absolute beat down by Leon Edwards. And I know a lot of people talking about, oh, he's a good value bet because he's plus 400. We're talking about Nate Diaz that hasn't fought since the last Masvidal fight, which is what, almost 3 years ago. And then he's coming back to face Leon Edwards. And mind you, this is his first legit welterweight because he's faced the welterweights that he's faced were Masvidal, Pettis, and McGregor. Those were all former lightweights. This is a legit welterweight. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be more powerful. And if you watch the last Masvidal fight, he got beaten to a bloody pulp to the point where they had to stop the fight because he was bleeding so profusely. It was bad. And I think it's going to be much more the same. You know, Nate Diaz always bleeds. That's just what he does. He gets cut up. And like you said, the elbows are gonna cut him up really, really bad. He's got a really nasty jab. He uses his reach very, very well. He uses kicks. He keeps the distance very well. And Dana already said this fight is number one contender spot. You know, Leon Edwards is going in there looking to fucking kill Nate Diaz because he wants that number one contender spot after Colby Covington finally wants to fight for the belt that he's been, he's needed. He deserved it for the longest time now. This guy had 8-9 fight win streak. He's been on an absolute tear, and I don't think Nate Diaz coming off the couch is going to be the one to detour, to Leon Edwards for his road to get to the title shot. It's not going to happen, and I don't see this fight going 25 minutes either. I think he's going to eventually finish him probably midway through the third or fourth round. It's going to happen. I'm looking to pair Leon Edwards up with pretty much every play in the book, to be honest with you. I know it's not going to be a ton of value, but I just feel like Leon Edwards is going to come out there and absolutely maul him and get the win. All right. And we're up to our co-main event, which is going to be a crazy fight. The rematch for the flyweight title between Deiveson Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Right now, Figueiredo is a minus 230 favorite, and the comeback on Moreno is a plus 190 underdog. Figueiredo's 21-1. Moreno's 18-5-2. 5'5" for Figueiredo. 5'7" from 5'5" for Figueiredo. 5'7" for Moreno. 68-inch reach for Figueiredo. 70-inch reach for Moreno. Who do you got?
I think in this fight, especially with them already fighting once, I think it favors Moreno a lot. I think one of the things when you go into fighting Figueiredo is that power that he has. And I think Moreno passed that test with flying colors as far as being able to eat a shot. Yeah, it is MMA. So, Figueiredo could connect and kind of put Moreno out. But I just feel like Moreno, to me, is the more well-rounded guy. And I think Moreno early is going to start pressuring Figueiredo as opposed to the last time. I think he was a little reserved trying to fill out the power that Figueiredo was bringing into the fight. I think Moreno beats him by decision. I think it'll be another long, grueling fight. But I think this time Moreno's really going to break him down and really take over those championship rounds. I think especially in the last fight, it was a little bit of the same. Moreno taking over towards the end. And I believe he hurt his shoulder in the fifth round. Because I think in that fifth round, he was really not throwing any punches and he was pointing to his shoulder after the fight. I know Figueiredo also said he was a little sick coming into the fight. But I just think Moreno in this fight is going to win and take the belt home.
It's gonna be a good fight. I'm actually taking Figueiredo here. I feel he's got the power advantage. I do think he should be able to keep this fight standing. I know Brandon Moreno, took him down 4 times, which it was good. But I feel like he's going to be able to game plan more. You're talking about he took this fight on a couple weeks' notice. He had no game plan from Moreno. He didn't have a full camp. So now we have a guy that didn't have to cut weight twice. He doesn't have food poisoning. And now he has a full camp to be able to game plan what he already saw against Moreno. And mind you, he already won that fight. He won the fight before.
Yeah.
Judges gave him, one judge gave him 4 rounds, and the other 2 judges gave him 3 rounds. Well, because of the nut shot is the reason why it was a draw. So if we think about it, technically, Figueiredo won that fight. I don't think they should have taken a point away just from a nut shot. There was no warning. It was just strictly point taken away. I mean, it's not like the nut shot really. I mean, I know it was a really hard nut shot. It was not deliberate, but it didn't, do anything that it swayed and made a difference in the fight. Moreno came back and he came firing and he looked great. I just think Figueiredo is the best flyweight, in the world. He's got power. And I feel like he's gonna really make it decisive this go around. I feel like he's gonna be in a much better position here. I don't see Moreno getting all those body lock takedowns that he did. He pretty much just was, Figueiredo was swinging and missing, and he was ducking underneath and, grabbing a hold of those body locks and just taking him down. I don't see that happening here. I feel like he's going to be ready for that. Once he's missing, I feel like he's going to be fishing for those underhooks to keep the fight on the feet. And, man, those thunderous body shots, those overhands, that jab, he was looking really good in that first fight. So we'll see what happens. I got Figueiredo winning. I know minus 230 is a little steep of a price, but I think he wins again. Yes, I said again because he won the first time. Take away that stupid point. He won the third round across the board. He won. Everybody gave him that third round because it was 9-9-9-9. So I got Figueiredo winning again, retaining the title and taking the belt back home with him. We got War Moreno, but he did weather the first 7 minutes of the fight. Jab, work the body, pull Fig strikes. I want to see a leg kick. I love Figgy, but he's so chaotic, man. I don't know if he changes much for the first fight. I don't think he changes much for the first fight either, but I think he's going to be more well aware what Moreno is going to be bringing to the table in the second fight. I feel like he's going to be more well aware when it comes to, like I said, the body lock takedowns. I don't think he was ready to go in there and grapple with him. I don't think he was ready for Moreno to, get those body lock takedowns. No one really takes down Figueiredo. The only one that was able to take him down, I forgot his Formiga. He's the only one that was able to take him down. Perez took him down, but it was not like he got subbed immediately. You know what I mean? It's just same with Elliott. Took him down, got subbed immediately because the normal takedown attempts from fighters, he's snatching that neck. And that's why Moreno is smart enough. He goes for the body lock takedowns. He knows he can't go for a traditional double leg takedown because his neck is going to be out there and he's going to get snatched. It was super smart for Moreno to do what he did. I just think Figueiredo is going to be able to, he's going to defend that better this go around. But we'll see how it goes. I'm a fan of Moreno. So I'm not going to be too mad, if he does pull it out because, he's Mexican born. The dude's a fighter for days. He's tough as nails. He's super fucking durable. And he's super likable. Everybody likes Moreno. Who doesn't like Moreno? I mean, he's McLovin out there. He's awesome. he's an awesome fighter, and he's got a great personality. He's super likable, and the kid's tough. What's up, Eli? Thanks for tuning in to the breakdown. What's going on? All right, and we're up to our main event. That's right, for the middleweight championship, the rematch between Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori. The last style bender coming in as a minus 255 favorite, and Marvin Vettori is coming back at a plus 215 underdog. Israel is 20-1. Marvin Vettori is 17-4-1, 6'4" for Adesanya, 6 foot for Vettori, 80-inch reach for Adesanya, 74-inch reach for Vettori. Who do you got?
I think both guys have improved a lot since their first fight. Like both guys have showed definitely a lot of new wrinkles to their game, but especially watching Marvin Vettori, the way he fought with Kevin Holland, obviously I think similar build to kind of Stylebender. Obviously, Stylebender is a much better striker than Kevin Holland, but just watching the way that Vettori, I don't think he's gonna be able to take down Stylebender 5 rounds and hold down Stylebender, anything like that. And I think anytime they fight on the feet, Stylebender is gonna hurt him bad. I think Marvin's very stiff on the feet, and I think that's gonna give him a lot of problem. I think Stylebender is gonna work the body, like he's gonna work that leg line. It's gonna be very hard for Vettori to keep kind of chasing him around the cage, like how he's saying, because Vettori keeps saying a lot, and leading up to the fight, I'm gonna make it a fight, I'm gonna make it a fight, and I think that's proven time and time again with Stylebender. If you come chasing him, he has plenty of traps set for you. And I think Stylebender is going to finish him this go around. And I got Stylebender keeping the belt.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't like the line of minus 255. I do think it will be a little bit closer, but Yeah, I mean, Vittori's not going to be able to do what he did against Kevin Holland to Adesanya. Adesanya's takedown defense has proven to be great, and the only person to ever keep him on the mat is a guy that had 30 plus pounds on him, and that's Jan Blachowicz. He easily had at least 30 pounds. Adesanya came in under the weight at like 190, 195, and then Jan Blachowicz blew up to about 225 to 230. So he had that extra weight. Talking about Adesanya is gonna have the size advantage. He's 4 inches tall. He's got the 6-inch reach advantage. He's got the size here to keep out of harm's way. He's got the size to keep this fight on the feet, and he's a much better striker than Kevin Holland will ever be. And Kevin Holland was piecing him up while the fight was on the feet, and we've seen Vettori time and time again tend to fade as the fight goes on because of his grueling pace, the grueling grappling that he does. So pretty much he needs to get Adesanya out of there in the first 2.5 rounds, or Adesanya is going to go out there and absolutely style on him in rounds 3, 4, and 5 and just give him a fucking beatdown. And I like Vettori. He has a chance to be the first ever Italian champion, just like Moreno has a chance to be the first Mexican UFC champion ever. So it'd be a good look if one of them wins. So you have a new champion of a new country. So it's good for them. But I see both of them retaining their titles. I don't see Adesanya losing to Vettori. If Adesanya loses to anybody, it would probably at 185. I don't think it's going to happen, but if he does, it would probably be, Robert Whittaker, because he's just looked, he looks the best. He's looking good. He's looking like he's the best he's ever been in. So we'll see that fight happen when it happens next, because I'm pretty sure that's the next fight up. If Adesanya gets past Vettori here. But yeah, I got Adesanya all day in this fight. I just can't see Vettori being the one to do it. I just don't see it. He doesn't have the grappling to keep it up there and keep him down, and I don't see him having the striking to really do any type of damage on the feet. And then Kevin saying King's MMA just doesn't have a fighter needs to face Israel. That's true. We had Kevin Gastelum from King's MMA. Couldn't get it done. He was the closest to getting it done at 185, but couldn't get it done. Vettori had some top control on Israel round 3 in their first fight, but he has no pressure to contain or transition to land strikes. That's true. That is very true. I like where you're thinking, Kevin. I like it. And John Lazaro, I have it at minus 270. I can see it go up to. Damn, thanks for the info. If time watcher. Yeah, definitely. I think Adesanya is taking this fight all day, and minus 2 for first timer. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. This card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom, so it's gonna be a great night of fights. It's gonna be a long night of fights. We got 3 5-round fights. If they all go the distance, I might be sleeping in between the fights. Let's put it that way. So that's what I got. That's what we got for this week's breakdown for UFC 263. But before we go, my man, shout out your, if you got anybody to shout out, your social media handles, let everybody know where they can follow you.
Thanks everybody to watching the show. I think, this is probably the guy right here that gives the best breakdown to the fight. So I think you guys are all doing a good job in checking him out. As far as if you guys want to give me a follow in my fighting career and things like that, my Instagram is Christian with a CH _Y28. That's me on Instagram. And then on Facebook, my name is Christian Ynastrilla. I know usually the last name be giving people some headaches to spell. The last name is Ynastrilla. And other than that, I want to thank my longtime sponsor, Chiro Fit Pines. I think he's one of the best chiropractors in the Pembroke Pines area. So if you guys ever got a chance and you're in that area, you guys should definitely check them out. And other than that, I want to give a big shout out to the Fight Analyst himself. Always giving me the time to come on these shows. It's super fun, breaking down the fights and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, for me, I look forward to fighting again and continue to give shows. And yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the shout out. We love having you come on here, giving your expertise, you being a fighter. We love having fighters come on and, give their knowledge. I can only do so much as a couch analyst myself, just watching, but I appreciate your time out. Like always, you guys, you have to catch them Titan FC, July 2nd. He's going to be putting on the show for each and every one of you live on UFC Fight Pass, so don't miss it. But you guys, you know where to find me. Fight Analyst LLC on Twitter, The Fight Analyst LLC on Instagram, and The Fight Analysts on Facebook. If you guys want to get my package, head over to thefightanalyst.com. And guys, don't forget, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm putting out a ton of content. I put out my money plays today as well. So head over there, click the like, click the subscribe button, and let's get this money. We will see you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great night.